Yes. You have tuned in to Renewed Mind Revolution podcast with your host, Michelle Cook Hall. Today's podcast is brought to you by Faith versus Fear, Breaking Family Ties, which can be found and available on Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. This podcast is designed with you in mind to remind you that you can always click that reset button and start all over again. It's never too late to be great. So now I want you to sit back. I want you to relax. I want you to clear your mind. Take in that deep breath. Prepare yourself for change as we listen in on Renewed Mind Revolution podcast with your host, Michelle Cook Hall. Let's go.
Breaking family ties. It's being called a groundbreaking revelation for our youth today, a weapon against unhealthy generational behavior and soul ties. Essential to our society's current dilemma. Let's take back our family, our home, our city. Let's change our minds. Breaking family ties. The answer to why we do what we do. Pick up your copy today, available at Amazon, Kindle, Barnes & Noble, and Nook.
Hello, and welcome to Renewed Mind Revolution podcast with your host, Michelle Cook Hall. As always, it is my honor and my pleasure to be able to come and share some tips and some tools with you that I know will assist you in becoming a better you. I am so excited, you guys. I'm so excited to be able to come on today. I had been under the weather a little bit, and I decided that I was not going to let that keep me from sharing what I had for you today, because when I share with you, I am also blessed. So I wanted to share it with you regardless of what my status was. I want to make sure that I came on and share with you what I had for you today, something that we're going to talk about as we are wrapping up. We're literally wrapping up 2023 and preparing for 2024. Before we get started, I wanted to share with you guys that I did release my new book. Yes, it is called The Grace of Elijah. The Grace of Elijah. And if you don't know, Elijah is a prophet from the scriptures, the biblical scriptures. And he had a moment in his life, a really low moment. And this book is surrounded around that moment with a message that I think would be very helpful to you, because the message was helpful to me. So take a look and go on Amazon.com, and you can get it on Kindle, you can get it on a paper copy, and allow it to bless you. The Grace of Elijah. So, as I stated, we are wrapping up 2023. Y'all know I get real excited when we talk about the end of the year, because let's be honest, the year comes with so many ups and downs, that it is really refreshing to conclude one and start, on to the next. It just, you tie it up, you take the good, you take the bad, you take the lessons, and you thank God that you're still here. You thank God for His grace and His mercy and His love and His protection, and you move on to the next. So what we're going to talk about today, as we're talking about concluding 2023, we're going to talk about two things. We're going to talk about believing again, and being consistent. Believing again and being consistent. Now, I'm going to start off with being consistent, and I'm going to tie this baby up with believe again. And it's going to be perfect for the holiday season, okay? So this is our holiday conclusion special. So this is for Christmas. This is for the New Year's. This is the last that you're gonna get, from me from 2023. Okay. So let's look at the first, which is consistent. Consistent. So I pick the word consistent because it's something that came to me regarding my own life. Okay. Sometimes, there are areas in our life that we don't see the fruit that we really desire to see, right? You put in some work and you wait, you put in a little bit more work, you wait, you put in a little bit more work, you wait, but you're not seeing the fruit that your work should have, brought out by now, right? It should have manifested this fruit, but you're not seeing it. And in my life, there are certain, parts of my life that I put in work, waited, put in work, waited, put in work, waited, and just didn't see it. And so, it really disturbed me. And so I'm going to God and I'm saying, what am I missing? I love to do that, right? I love to take it to Him and say, what am I missing? What's going on? What revelation am I missing? What nugget can you give to me, share with me or something? And so it was so simple. It was consistency, and so this is what I've had a habit of doing. And I'm saying this because I believe that it can help somebody else. I've had a habit of starting off really fast, really hard, call myself covering every little loophole, every little, gap, doing everything I think I possibly can. And once I've done that, I wait. I don't see anything. So I'll go back, do a little bit more, to see. And I'll do this for a little while. But after a little while, and I mean little while, honestly, when I don't see the results, like any results, I literally push it to the side and go to something else has my attention. Like I am literally focused, like gun ho, like just piercing all attention on a project. And once I have done that, once I don't see the fruit, once I don't see things working the way that I think that they should work, I literally will, just drop it and, start with some other project. And so, that was such a revelation for me because I had to be honest with myself and say, you're really not putting in the work that you say that, you know what it takes, but you're not being consistent with it. You're not putting in that consistent work. You're putting in that first part, you're laying the foundation, you're doing all the things that is necessary, but you're not following up. You're not, you know, pushing your product. You're not, you know, pushing advertisement. You're not pushing, I'm not doing other things. I'll start off doing it, but then I'll back away. And honestly, you know, it's such a waste. It's such a waste because what I've done is I burned all this energy putting into something that I'm not seeing the fruit from. And I can definitely see the fruit from it if I just be consistent. Okay. So I'm telling you today that the quality of your work is there. The quality of your dream, your business, whatever, it's there. But sometimes the void, the slack, the lack thereof of seeing fruit is just from lack of consistency. Seeing that thing to the end. And sometimes we miss that part because, we are quick return people. We want to see things a quick return. If I invest my money, excuse me, I want to see a quick return in my money. I want to see a quick return, in whatever I am investing in. And so sometimes we completely miss the fruit. There's so many probably ideas, so many products, so many streams of revenue that you missed and I missed only because we're not being consistent. We are starting it off. We are gung ho about it. We are excited about it, passionate about it, but then we kind of like allow it to flicker out, our light, our flame to flicker out because we're not seeing, the revenue. We're not seeing the manifestation of the fruit fast enough, quick enough. Anybody who invests will tell you they don't see a quick return. I know I had spoken to an investor and he was, dropping nuggets with me, and he was telling me that, when you invest in this, it's a possibility that you won't get back, what you have invested. It's a risk. But even if you do, it could take time. You just don't know because you are investing, you're taking a risk, and it doesn't come quickly, right? And so I had to, even in that area, when it came to investments, listen and understand that just apply to a lot of other things that, I might be interested in or that you might be interested in. We have to put in the work, and we have to take the time, and we have to, wait. We have to wait. But we have to work. We have to put in that work. And I don't mean a couple of months, I mean, if you're not seeing results, you need to keep pushing until you do see results. I know that sounds crazy, but if you believe in whatever you are, you know, producing, whatever you are selling, whatever you are backing, whatever you are, you have created, if you really believe in it, then you are doing yourself an injustice if you don't push it. You are doing yourself an injustice if you don't consistently push it, until you see the fruit of that thing, and that's something that I'm learning. I'm so happy to be able to even have this concept and use it for the end of this year and heading on to the next year. Consistency, consistency, consistency. I have adopted the word persistent, for years, and I believe in being persistent, and I have mastered that almost, believe it or not. But consistency, I fall off. It's very different. Consistency, I have, fell off with that because that, it's me backing and pushing, something that I've created or something that I've produced or something that is, my product or something. And sometimes I kind of miss, I missed the mark in that. And so, I was thinking today, what can I share, with you that will be helpful going into, remainder of this year, because we don't want to forget this year. We don't want to, just run past this year and realizing that we have several days left. We want to do as much as we can to be productive in the end of this year, heading towards the next year. But the goal is to start off the new year with a new mindset, new goals, a fresh outlook, a fresh determination. And that could be so difficult, sometimes depending on whatever you're going through. It can be very difficult to have this fresh outlook. And this is why I'm, talking today, because I understand that. And this takes us to our next word, which is believe again. Believe again. I want to talk about believing again in yourself. Believing again in yourself. And I'm saying this because, life has a way of stripping you, if you allow it, of your identity. And once it has attempted to strip you of your identity, then you're literally going around responding to things, situations, and circumstances as if you don't know who you are and whose you are, right? And one of my favorite, it just came to me, one of my favorite lines, I have, a lot of favorite lines from movies. I'm a movie person. But one of my favorite lines from the movie Black Panther is when Black Panther was, fighting, and he was losing, right? And his mother uh, screams out from, the crowd, uh, show them who you are. Show them who you are. And as a mother, I mean, immediately I connected. Like, I have sons and I have a daughter, and I immediately connected with a mother looking at her son and saying to him, as he is struggling, show them who you are, because it's in you, right? I make sure it's in you. I prayed over you that it's in you. So I need you to know who you are. I need you to show that situation, that circumstance, that problem, who you are. Come on, somebody. This is helping me today. I'm encouraging myself in the Lord. It's just like David. I am encouraging myself in the Lord. And I hope that it's encouraging you too. To remember who you are, believe in yourself again. Um, I'm a very open and transparent person. And I do that because I know that my transparency will help somebody else. So I don't walk around as if, everything is going right in my life and everything is rosy and everything is perfect. And I have it all together and I have all the answers or any of that. I never do that. Absolutely never do that. But what I do is attempt to share my highs, my lows, my concerns, my perspectives, whatever been revealed to me, to share with you, because I know that it's not just me. Someone else is dealing with this too. And it seems to me that even more now than ever, are you getting people who are literally, just struggling, right? Struggling to keep going, struggling to maintain, struggling to, show up and be present, struggling to function, struggling to make ends meet, struggling to be present, and these are real people with real situations and real issues. And because these people exist and they're struggling, I'm here to say, believe in yourself again. Believe in yourself again. Be, as you in the situation, hear those words. Show them who you are. Show them that you are, strong. I don't feel strong, but you are strong because you've made it this far. What was sent out to destroy you, what was sent out to kill you, what was sent out to, lame you, to distract you, to, keep you off of your goals, your dreams, uh, your purpose. You have survived it. You are still here. You're still standing. You might be wavering a little bit. You might be shaking a little bit, but you are still here. Show them who you are. Show them that you are a force to be reckoned with. Not because, the fact that you are all that, but the one who is with you is all that. The one who is guiding you and keeping you and sustaining you is all of that. So, you're not fighting alone. You're not battling anything alone. You're never alone. He says that I will be with you all the way, always. So you're never alone. Show them who you are. That, yeah, things come that might make you, shaky, might make you cry, might, make you feel like this will never, ever end. But knowing that, things happen for a moment, feels like a lifetime, but it is not a lifetime, it is a moment. And you have the power, you have the authority to speak over your life. over your situation. And I think sometimes we forget that part. We forget that we have the power, we have the authority to speak, over our lives, speak over a situation. The thing that we always say is, I will live and not die. I will declare the works of the Lord, professing these type of things. I am the head and not the tail. I am the lender and not the borrower. We profess these things. I am healed. I am delivered. We speak these things because we have the power, we have the authority to speak these things that are not as though they were. Hear me again. We have the authority to speak these things that are not as though they were. And so you have the power over any circumstance, over any situation. You have the power and the authority to speak life over that situation, speak change over that situation. And what we end up doing, to be honest, we use the power and we use the authority to speak, but we do the total opposite. We talked about this a lot on this podcast, but it's true. Instead of us speaking life, instead of us saying it's going to change, it's going to get better, and putting our faith with that, just like staying there, leaving it right there, like not looking back, not looking to the left, not looking to the right, like just literally staying right there. Instead of us doing that, we literally do the total opposite. We literally say, this is too much. Come on. This is never going to change. I'm so exhausted. I'm so tired. I'm so frustrated. I'm so mad. I'm so angry. Listen, this is the power. The Bible tells us there's life and death, in our tongue, so in our words, right? Whatever we speak, we're either speaking life or we're speaking death. So either you're gonna speak life to a situation or to yourself, or you're gonna speak death to yourself, right? To your situation. So we have the power to speak something that we don't even see with our natural eyes, but spiritually, in the spirit realm, we can speak it and it can be released in the natural. I know that's hard to get this concept, but hear me again. We can speak and believe something in the spiritual realm. I'm speaking it because in order for me to have access to this manifestation, I'm speaking in the spirit. I'm speaking in, it's not just my natural, but I'm speaking in the spirit that this is going to change. This is going to happen, right? This is going to get better. It will. It has to get better, right? So I'm speaking it in the spiritual, right? And I am speaking in the spiritual to watch it be manifested and unfold in the natural realm. And it can happen. It can happen. And the problem is, we are, like I stated, we are doing this on a regular basis. I mean, every day you're doing it. You just don't know it. But you're doing it every day. But you're doing it for the total opposite. You're doing it in a negative way. You're speaking death. You're speaking poverty over your life. You're speaking things not changing, things not getting better. You're even speaking drama. You're bringing drama to yourself. You're bringing drama to your life. You go into a place that you don't really want to go into, and you go, it's how about this? Let's pick this. Let's say your job, right? You're going to your job and say, I'm not in the mood for this today. For what? Your day hasn't even started yet, but you've already said, I'm not in the mood for this today. I'm not even in the mood. I don't even want to be bothered. For what? I know this is hard to get. I get it. Because we have put to practice this so long. And I'm speaking for me too. I'm speaking on me. We have put this to practice for so long that it is really hard for us to, see, for us to understand what we're doing and how effective it is. But, you go and you say, I don't want to be bothered. I'm not in the mood. You go to a family function and you don't want to be bothered with the people. I'm not in the mood for this today. They better not say nothing to me. I just want to go in and go out. Go in and go out. I mean, you've already, prepped your heart, prepped your mind, and spoken out of your mouth what this moment is going to be like, and what you have to deal with. And if we can just, especially ending this year, going into 2024, I'm working on it, and I hope you take this challenge with me, right? Let's challenge ourselves to just, even for a little while, just try it, to do the total opposite of what we've been doing. Instead of saying, I don't want to be bothered, instead of saying, if it's not one thing, it's another. It's always some drama. It's always some problems. I can't get a break. I mean, all the cliches that you know. Instead of saying all these things, prepping your heart, prepping your mind, and speaking from your mouth, a place of doubt, a place of fear, a place of anger, a place of frustration. If we can turn this around and believe again, believe in ourselves again, believe that it's going to work out, believe that it's going to change, believe that, it no longer can hold you. Like it held you for so long, but it has no choice. Come on, somebody. It has to let you go. It has to let me go. It don't own me. It don't have rights to me. So it has to let me go. It has to let you go. Believe that what you've sown, you're gonna reap all of your hard work, all of that time, all of that talent. You're gonna reap that it has to come, because according to the scripture, we reap what we sow. And I think sometimes, I know I've been there, where you see people sowing a whole lot of ugly things, but yet it seems like they're just reaping all these, benefits, right? God has told me before, and I'm going to share this with you. We really don't know what really goes on. We are sitting from the outside looking in. So we really, really don't know. Let God be God. And let's concentrate on our own growth, our own level of maturity, our own level of progress, and our own level of consistency. Let's focus on that. These are the things that we can work on. These are the things that we can change. It's things that pertains to us and not someone else. We can't control people. We can't control what they do, what they say, how they act, but we can control our own situation and our own circumstance. So let's concentrate on that and believe again. Believe again. Believe that it's going to get better. It's going to change. Believe in yourself that you are strong, you are courageous, you are designed for this, you are built for this, you are called to this. Um, and it's okay to be happy. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to, be in the moment. These are all things that I feel like need to be told sometimes, because even as a mother, you're so wrapped up into making sure everybody else is okay that sometimes as a mother, you forget about yourself, right? I remember sharing something like this on social media before and had someone, who kind of made a comment that it's just so hard to do that. It's just so hard to do that. But I challenge you to do that. I challenge you to know, remember who you are. Remember who you are before kids. Remember who you are before a spouse. Before life's moments kept hitting you, pushing you, and throwing you around. Before all that, who were you? Who was that spunky person? Who was that person who had hopes, had dreams, had aspirations, had goals? Who was that person? And how can we cultivate that person again? How can we bring that person back out and, cultivate that? Like, we're not going to be the same as we were in our younger years, but we can bring that person out and bring them up to where we are now, right, in life. But let's dream again. Let's believe again. Let's believe that the dreams that, because the worst thing you can do is get in a certain age bracket and start to have a life full of regrets. Don't do that to yourself. Like, as long as you have breath, you can change situations. Remember, I just graduated with my master's this year in 2023, and I had not been in school for over 20 years. You can always change your situation, your circumstances. You can do it. It just takes consistency. That's what we're talking about. Consistency. And being intentional about it. Being intentional about it. So, today I just really wanted to jump on here and talk to you as we wrap up 2023, preparing our hearts, our minds for 2024. There's a lot going on. I've been saying this for the past, 3 years, because it has been a lot going on. But just know that you can change any situation. You can change. You don't have to allow things to just keep happening and happening and happening and happening to you. You have a right. You have the authority. You have the power to, hey, halt, stop. What am I missing? Why am I in this whirlwind of nonsense? What can I do? What can I do? And so you have the power, you have the authority to speak it, to change it. And I think that's a great way to start off 2024 and 2023. To be reminded of who you are, to speak life, to speak hope, to speak peace, to speak things falling off that you should not be harboring anymore. Just let them fall off. Let things, let it go. Things that are pulling you down, weighing you down. You carrying things that you're not designed to carry. You're holding on to things that don't want to be held on to. So let's just, bring it in. Let's focus. Let's believe again. Let's trust again. Let's, let go of things that are not good for us, not healthy for us. And we can do this. We can do this when we remember who we are. Sometimes it is hard to let things go when you don't remember who you are. So it is important that we first, remember who we are. Like, again, my favorite line, show them who you are. Remember who you are. So then you're able to just let go of things that is harmful to you, things that are hindering to you, things that are attempting to break your spirit, things that are attempting to drag you down. There are the enemy uses people, right? He uses people. And there's, people in your life sometimes who are not there to elevate you or to push you to your next. They are literally there to just suck the life out of you, to build off of your favor, build up off your grace, build up off your good nature, build up off of your spirit of empathy, your kindness, your relationship with God. Like, they're literally taken from you and living off that blessing. Some people are literally around you just to take and get from you, right? And so it's important to pay attention that if people who are in your circle or around you are not encouraging you, not uplifting you, not pushing you, but you're literally just, when you're around them, begin to feel drained, feel exhausted, feel tired, feel insignificant. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. Because we want to make sure that as we go into 2024, that we're not allowing anything or anybody to pull at us. We're trying to propel. We're trying to soar. We don't have any more energy for that. We've given that so much energy, so much time, so much of our patience, right? We're not doing that anymore. It's time that we focused on the next. Focused on the next. So I am so grateful once again for the opportunity to share this message with you. This message of hope, love. I hope you was inspired. I hope you was blessed. The 2 words today was consistency and believe again. Consistency and believe. Believe in yourself again. Listen, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. God bless you guys. I'm so happy that we have got to this moment and I was able to share something with you before this year was out. I pray for your family, health, strength, financial breakthrough, and that you would be reminded to show them who you are. I love you, but most importantly, God loves you more. God bless.